You wake to the soft gurgle of a nearby stream. Your body knows it's time, without the jolt of an alarm. The air is cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke. You stretch, muscles accustomed to movement, not confinement. For 99% of human history, this wasn't a hypothetical morning. This was simply morning. Your ancient ancestors lived entirely within the rhythms of the natural world. Their survival depended on a profound, intimate knowledge of their environment. Every rustle, every call, every animal movement was a potential lesson, a warning, or an opportunity. What could even the most common creatures teach them? Imagine your ancient self, standing by a marshy pond, observing the waterfowl. You might have gathered wild chili peppers, their vibrant red a tempting, if fiery, snack. Your tongue burns with a surprising intensity when you taste one. Yet, you watch the ducks in the shallows, casually pecking at these very plants, swallowing them without a flicker of discomfort. How is this possible? Your ancestors wouldn't have known the scientific answer, but they would observe the distinct difference. It turns out, ducks lack the specific receptors in their mouths that sense capsaicin, the compound that makes chili peppers spicy for you. For them, it's just food. This observation teaches you a fundamental truth about life: not all creatures experience the world in the same way. What might burn your senses is entirely neutral for another. This nuanced understanding of animal biology was crucial. Now, shift your gaze to a nest by the water's edge. A tiny duckling, barely out of its shell, wobbles on uncertain legs. Within hours, it's already navigating the reeds, instinctively pecking at morsels, finding its own way. You watch, perhaps with a touch of awe, as this tiny creature demonstrates an immediate, startling independence. Your own offspring, for contrast, would cling to you for years, utterly helpless, utterly reliant on your constant care and protection. Does this make you question your own prolonged childhood? Your long period of vulnerability as a human child forced your ancestors into incredibly strong social bonds. The stark difference between human and duckling development highlights a core evolutionary path: collective care versus individual precocity. As dusk approaches, you might settle down to watch the ducks on the water, perhaps contemplating a future meal. Many appear to be sleeping, their heads tucked under a wing. But look closely. One eye, often, remains open, ever so slightly. Could they be truly resting, yet still alert? They can. Ducks possess a remarkable ability called Unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. They can essentially sleep with one half of their brain while the other half remains awake and vigilant, constantly scanning for predators. Your own sleep is a state of deep, vulnerable unconsciousness. Your ancestors compensated for this vulnerability through group vigilance, taking turns to stand guard against unseen dangers. This dual-brain sleep system is an adaptation you can only marvel at. Imagine being able to rest deeply while still maintaining situational awareness. It's a level of biological multitasking your brain simply cannot achieve. You might next observe them in the river. The current tugs relentlessly against you, making any upstream movement a strenuous battle. Yet, these ducks paddle effortlessly, their webbed feet and sleek feathers propelling them forward against the flow. They swim upstream with a powerful grace that seems to defy the river's might. Your ancestors, navigating waterways in simple rafts or by foot along the banks, would have recognized this efficiency. They understood the physics of water and motion, and this observation might have informed early attempts at engineering or understanding currents. This ability reveals nature's elegant solutions to physical challenges. You might struggle, but these animals seem to glide where you would flounder. Perhaps your observation extends to the more intimate details of their lives. You might have noticed a male duck pursuing a female. You understand your own anatomy, your reproductive organs. But upon closer inspection, you realize the male duck's reproductive organ is quite different. Male ducks don't possess a typical penis. Instead, they have a complex, corkscrew-shaped structure called a pseudopenis. This intricate adaptation, often hidden, showcases the incredible diversity of life strategies for reproduction. To your ancestors, this was just another fascinating, if puzzling, aspect of the natural world, a testament to its endless variations. And what about the eggs? Your ancestors were expert foragers, and eggs were a prized, easily digestible source of protein. You would gather them from nests, knowing that some, despite their perfect appearance, would never hatch. Female ducks can lay unfertilized eggs without a male, simple empty vessels that offer sustenance but no new life. Your knowledge of nature allowed you to discern which eggs were viable, perhaps by subtle differences in weight or simply through experience, understanding the patterns of their nesting. This practical knowledge was critical. Every observation led to better foraging, better hunting, better survival. Now, look to the sky. Ducks are strong flyers. But some species, like the bar-headed goose, a cousin to many duck species, can achieve astonishing feats, migrating over the Himalayas, reaching altitudes as high as 21,000 feet. You, grounded by gravity, could only dream of such elevation, such freedom. Your ancestors would have watched these birds disappear into the clouds, perhaps inspiring their own myths of flight or of spirits soaring beyond the earthly realm. This raw power of flight, seemingly limitless, was a constant source of wonder. You are tied to the ground, but these creatures defied it with ease. How did they find their way, year after year, across vast distances? Your ancestors navigated by the stars, by the sun, by landmarks passed down through generations. Ducks, however, possess an invisible compass. They navigate using the Earth's magnetic field, an ability you, as an ancient human, could not possibly comprehend. This sophisticated biological navigation system allows them to migrate thousands of miles without getting lost, a testament to senses far beyond your own. This phenomenon, which archaeologist Louis Binford might describe as part of the intricate ecological knowledge systems of early hunter-gatherers, was a silent mystery to your ancestors, yet they benefited from the predictable return of the migrating birds. This innate compass reveals the profound, often hidden, ways life interacts with the planet. Your own maps were in your memory. Their maps were in their very being. In a world where life was often brutally short, where childhood mortality was high and old age a rarity, you might observe that some ducks could live for a surprisingly long time. While the average lifespan of many duck species is around 10 years, some individuals can live for up to 20 years or more in the wild. This resilience, this extended longevity in such a harsh environment, would be another observation your ancestors made. James Suzman, in his work on hunter-gatherer societies, emphasizes the intimate understanding these groups had of the life cycles and populations of the animals they coexisted with, including their long-term survival strategies. The enduring spirit of these creatures, year after year, was a subtle lesson in perseverance. And finally, listen closely to their calls. You know the familiar quack, but if you spend enough time observing, you'll hear a far more diverse vocabulary. Different calls for warning, for courtship, for locating offspring. Ducks communicate through a complex repertoire of sounds, a language just as nuanced, in its own way, as your own developing human speech. Your ancestors, deeply attuned to the sounds of the forest and marsh, would have learned to interpret these calls, perhaps even mimicking them to lure prey or simply to understand the rhythm of the ecosystem. This rich auditory tapestry, this diverse communication, reflects the social complexity of even these seemingly simple birds. Your ancestors did not view these creatures with scientific detachment. They saw them as teachers, as food, as companions in the great theater of life. They understood, through observation and experience, that nature holds countless wonders and adaptations, some shared, many vastly different from their own. You, today, might marvel at a duck's ability to sleep with one eye open or navigate by magnetism. But for your ancestors, these were not abstract facts. These were immediate, tangible realities, woven into the fabric of their survival and understanding of the living world. The world they inhabited was not just a stage, it was a living library, where even the humble duck offered profound lessons. You too, if you quiet your modern distractions and truly observe, might find that the world around you still speaks volumes.